I've been a trucker for close to 15 years, and this story happened to me back in 2017. I was driving an overnight haul through the Mojave Desert in California, headed to Arizona. I think I was delivering appliances, though I don't fully remember. What I do remember was the darkness. It was pitch black in every direction, and my semi's headlights were unusually dim. I had been putting off getting them fixed, and on a road this empty, the difference was painfully clear. I had to strain my eyes just to make out the road ahead. I thought about pulling over and waiting for sunrise, but I didn't want to waste the time. I badly needed the money back then, so I pressed on, figuring the straight desert road would be safe enough. About an hour before sunrise, I noticed something up ahead, coming into view quickly. Worried it might be an animal, I slammed the brakes. My truck screeched to a stop just a foot away from hitting what turned out to be a red Ford Fusion. The car's hazards were on, and it was sitting directly in the middle of the road, perfectly lined up on the double yellow. Stranger still, its passenger door was wide open. I'm not the type to scare easily, so curiosity outweighed fear. I thought maybe someone needed help, so I backed up my semi and pulled over. The night was eerily still, no wind, no sound, just the faint click of the hazards echoing in the emptiness. I walked up cautiously, checking the car inside and out. It was empty, completely empty. I checked the back seat, the floor, nothing. That's when the unease set in. I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting someone to charge at me from the dark. The desert around me was black except for what my truck's headlights lit up. Inside the car, things looked ordinary. The key was still in the ignition, though the engine wasn't on. Against my better judgment, I decided to check the trunk. It was locked, so I grabbed the key and tried again. It unlocked, but still wouldn't budge, as if something was holding it shut from the inside. I crawled in through the back seat and finally managed to open it. There were 3 garbage bags crammed inside and a rope tied across the trunk to keep it closed. Just as I reached toward the bags, a gunshot tore through the silence. It was the loudest gunshot I've ever heard, and it made me slam my head against the roof of the car in shock. I panicked, tossed the keys onto the front seat, and bolted for my truck. As I scrambled into the cab, I heard a rough voice yelling, "Hey," over and over, getting closer. My hands shook as I started the semi, and the engine stalled before finally roaring to life. That's when I saw him, a short, husky man with red hair, wearing overalls and shin-high boots. In one hand, he held a small shovel, and in the other, an old hunting rifle. We locked eyes as I pulled forward. He didn't look deranged, just strangely worried. Then he dropped the shovel, waved his arms, and shouted for me to wait. But there was no way I was stopping. I floored it, pushing the semi far faster than I should have. For a few minutes, I thought I was in the clear, but then headlights appeared behind me, closing in fast. My stomach dropped as the red Ford tailgated me, honking wildly. I grabbed my phone, called the police, and tried to explain through the panic. The car stayed glued to my rear, swerving, flashing, trying to push me off the road. After 15 minutes of this, he cut in front of me and slammed the brakes, nearly forcing me to crash. Just then, police lights appeared ahead. The Ford swerved off the road and vanished into the desert before the officer could intercept him. I pulled over and frantically told the cop everything. Instead of chasing after the guy, he took my statement and promised they'd search the area with backup. I begged him to act fast, but he just reassured me and sent me on my way. I never heard anything from the police again. To this day, I tell this story more than any other, and people always say the same thing. That man was burying bodies. Maybe they're right. The bags in the trunk were too small for a full body, though some of my buddies think dismemberment could explain it. For my own sanity, I like to believe he was burying something else, maybe a dead animal, maybe something diseased or dangerous. But I'll never know. What I do know is that I haven't felt truly safe driving through a desert at night since.